Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Michael J. Actually brought a little special guest, a little surprise for you.
A surprise for me?
Kind of excited about this. Oh, yeah.
I like surprises.
And for everybody listening at home, brought my teammate and top-level, I guess, also teammate, Craig Wescoe.
Pro Tour champion Craig Wescoe.
Yes, and 4-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor Craig Wescoe?
Only 3 so far.
I'm sorry, I'm from the future. I apologize. This next PT.
After Amonkhet. Change that up.
Watch. You'll see. But yes, we have Craig Wescoe in the house. Craig, what do we owe to this honor?
Well, today is a little show and tell. I brought something to share with everyone today. It's a little card that I've played with quite a bit in a few different decks that I've had some success with. Should I go ahead and say what it is?
By all means.
All right, it's Aven Mindcensor. It's a masterpiece from Amonkhet. And have you seen this? It looks straight out of Egypt with all its hieroglyphics.
Yeah, because this is a very visually different take on the masterpieces than the ones from Kaladesh block, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like night and day different. This is super dope.
Have we never seen a non-artifact masterpiece before? Like before there were the expeditions, right? There were lands, right?
Right, yeah. I think there's just been land and artifacts.
So now there's lands, artifacts, and bird wizards.
Yeah, it's weird that they came up with 12 bird wizards or whatever.
That is weird. I mean, it wasn't my pick, but, as long as Craig's bringing them.
This is just outrageous. So, obviously the people listening will be able to see this in front, but just for anybody who's just listening and not having the, the image in front of them or pulled up on their phone or at work or whatever, how would you describe this font? Is this like hieroglyphic font?
It's like hieroglyphic-esque, right? I mean, that's not like real hieroglyphics, right?
Well, to the left of the word Aven Mindcensor, those are hieroglyphics.
Oh, yeah, that could stone be like a tattoo on Neil Patrick Harris,
Well, plus, they actually are hieroglyphics. It's just, here are some hieroglyphics, and then it's Aven Mindcensor. I don't know that those are actually the hieroglyphics that mean Aven Mindcensor. I kind of think it looks kind of like an arrow, a sun,
A hill?
Your chances of winning the match dropping off a cliff when your opponent plays Aven Mindcensor in response to your fetch land.
So, this is a question for Craig. So, Craig is a winner of a Pro Tour with a green-white deck and an aficionado of white-weenie decks in general. What would you say is like the opposite strategy of everything that you hold dear to your heart? Would you say like Grixis control, maybe Grixis Planeswalker control would be the opposite of the Craig Wescoe life?
Either that or some form of convoluted combo deck. Because most of the decks that I play are pretty fair type decks. So something that's like unfair and not white and not little creature based.
The reason I ask is, do you guys check out the aesthetic of this, both in the bottom left and bottom right corner, and then also the background of Aven Mindcensor? That is Bolus, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a pretty strong... The Bolus is strong with this one. Aven Mindcensor has traditionally been very good against Grixis decks, whether they're combo or control. Right, like, obviously, if you just flash down Aven Mindcensor, you can disrupt a lot of different types of combos. But Nico Bolas himself definitely does not love being Aven Mindcensored. Like, not the card specifically, but the sort of Grixis decks that would use, like, anybody who'd be getting up to that kind of mana.
Has like a Scalding Tarn in their life.
Right, something in that space. Mystical teachings, something, right?
You're definitely right. The only time I'll be casting a Nicol Bolas is probably off of a Windbrisk Heights.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
That is insane. So, Craig, have you actually played Aven Mindcensor in some big events, right?
Yeah, Green-White Hate Bears is my typical choice in Modern. And in Legacy, I play Mono-White Death and Taxes, which sometimes, depending on the metagame, I'll go with Aven Mindcensor. It's usually super good against like Scape Shift type decks or anything with fetch lands or any type of Court of Calling type deck. Anyone that relies on searching their library, Aven Mindcensor is just a way to punish them.
Yeah, so Aven Mindcensor has flash, right? So, like, say somebody casts a Teachings or cracks an Evolving Wilds or whatever, you can respond by casting it, and then they might just miss, right? Like, they could, or even if they don't miss, they might not get the thing they want, right? Like, let's say I was trying
I've missed a lot.
Basic Island, or I can only get, you know, a basic Swamp or something, right? Which is maybe doesn't actually fix my land. But then separately, this isn't just like a shadow of doubt. You're also putting the opponent on a clock, right? So, you know, they're on notice now. 10 turns from now, they're dead, if not faster. Which actually I think matters, you know, versus not having a clock.
Yeah, and once it's starting to clock you, there is this interesting dance of, okay, I guess I'm just going to have to play another fetch land, crack it, and hopefully there's a land there. You know, because it is a demoralizing thing when you pay that life while you're getting pressured. You already paid a life the first time and got nothing. And now you got to pay another life and might get nothing and take another turn off the clock.
I mean, just as like a convoluted goober, you know, whether I'm playing combo, control, or a fair deck, I always try to have the most confusing convoluted build available. So for me, if I'm trying to use my, you know, whatever Evolving Wilds or search card, and somebody like Craig Aven Mindcensors me, of course I'm going to have some sort of fair lightning bolt to get rid of it. But then you're like, all right, spend a card on this random 2-1 just so that I can get my basic strategy back online. And then, bump, they just have another Aven Mindcensor. Because that's like the kind of person these people are, I think.
Well, and also, there are other cards that go into a deck that play Aven Mindcensor, such as Mother of Runes. So if your plan is to bolt this Mindcensor in response, well, you might have to have 2 bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, man. You're really
even
just
in modern,
ruining my convoluted day.
In Modern, don't you often run like Restoration Angel? Which can have a similar thing for protecting the Mindcensor?
Yeah, and when there's an Ether Vial in play, you can do both those things. You could, even on turn 4, I can Vial in the Mindcensor, and with 4 lands untapped, and if you try to bolt it, because I'm responding to your fetch land or whatever, then I just Angel and blink my... So then you have to have another bolt for it. Same situation as the Mother of Runes.
So what you're saying is I could lose my bolt and not search, and you have 5 power in play. So I'm like...
And you take that point from your fetch.
Yeah, I'm a life and 2 cards down. You've got 5 power, and I've done nothing.
That's fair.
And it's turn 4.
And they fly.
Have you ever got to take advantage of the wizard? I wasn't
playing to block, so that didn't matter.
Have you ever got to take advantage of the wizard creature type on here, Craig? Or the bird, for that matter. But, like, I mean, have you ever got to use any of the bird or wizard synergies that Aven Mindcensor enables? Whether it's like Void Mage Prodigy or the
laboratory.
Yeah, the laboratory. I guess Riptide Lab or
Riptide Lab would be sweet with this guy.
Birdwind Rider. What was that guy in Onslaught where you can tap some birds to trade win ride? 3 cost.
I know you're talking about it. Yeah, it's just an undercosted trade wind rider for birds only.
Undercosted.
The only cost is you have to have a deck full of birds.
Yeah, I didn't play that one. That one I thought that one was for the birds.
I know I've used Cavern of Souls and named Wizard to resolve some other things as well. Because there's some powerful wizards. But I don't know that I've ever used the synergy with the Mindcensor.
So the Aven Mindcensor is actually a bird who is a wizard, right? He's not like a wizard riding a bird. Like some cards are like a wizard riding a dragon or something. It's like a dragon wizard. This guy himself is a wizard.
Yeah, that's the Aven people. Those folks, they're very anamorphic. You know, yeah. It's a bird and a wizard.
Yeah, birds are those strange creature type, kind of like cats in Magic, where sometimes they're like, a feline alley cat, and other times they're like this, Brimaz anthropomorphized type cat. So birds, like some of them are, flying around as just these doves or albatross, and then other birds are these like wizard people type beings. And I think that's Aven Mindcensor's more like a human bird kind of.
He's like a bird person, if you will.
Yeah.
But the same Cavern of Souls can deploy like a bird of paradise, this guy, I guess anything in between. I'm sure what's like a really gigantic bird? Like a wingmate rock, right? That's a bird too.
So, Craig, what was the first or the biggest event you ever played Aven Mindcensor in? A GP, a PT? I know you played in Legacy and Modern at different points. Is it mostly just random Modern events? Like, because you strike me as also being like having the full range of hate bears in the toolbox. Leonin Arbiter, any of that. Kataki, Kasali Pride Mage, any of those.
I know that at the most recent Modern Pro Tour, I played Green-White Hate Bears. I'm trying to remember the meta game if I had Mindcensor in my 75 or not, and I don't remember. But I think it was in my Grand Prix Pittsburgh top 8 Modern Green-White Hate Bears list, and I think it was also in one of the Legacy Death and Taxes lists. If I recall correctly, I'm not sure though.
Do you ever play equipment in any of these decks? I know equipment doesn't always mesh with some of the hate bears, but some of them it can work very well.
Yeah, I play some equipment. I've played my fair amount of those. Usually not the ones everyone else is playing. Usually it's trusty machetes and Civic Sabers and stuff like that.
You won a Pro Tour with Civic Saber, right?
I did.
Yeah, the reason I ask is Aven Mindcensor is so good with flash down, untap, and then surprise, I guess, here's my Jite or my sword or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
so a lot of times, people, they go to great lengths to kill all your creatures, and then they're like, okay, great, the coast is clear, now I'm going to empty my hand with, like, Dark Confidant and, whatever other creature I've been...
Noble Hierarch or whatever.
Yep, and then you're just like, okay, end step, Mindcensor, untap, equip Jet, attack, remove both counters, kill both your guys, go.
Greg, I'm checking out your Grand Prix Pittsburgh top 8 list. You had 2 Aven Mindcensor in your main deck. And none in your second, though. There were 2.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't recall what the metagame was for that Grand Prix, but I do remember they did some work. I know Splinter Twin was still legal in that event, and that they're pretty reliant on like fetches for their mana, and there's a lot of other decks that were kind of trying to combat Splinter Twin, because when the combo deck of the format can kind of operate at instant speed, then you have to operate at instant speed or they're just going to kill you whenever they feel like it. So a lot of decks were playing like Abzan Company and other sort of strategies that operated at instant speed. So the Mindcensor was my way of interacting at instant speed as well.
You notice if an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. Have you ever like limited somebody's Jester's Mask? Like they're like Jester's masking you, but because you have the Mindcensor, they have to choose among the top 4 cards of your deck. That's like it's like not even that bad.
Never happened.
Well, there's cards like Surgical Extraction too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Where it comes up with stuff like that. Jester's Mask, maybe not so much.
You ever been Grinning Totemed?
I have.
What do they take out of your deck? Aven Mindcensor?
Oh, not with a Mindcensor in play. I don't know that anyone's played that card since Mirage.
This is an eclectic deck. Patrick, check this deck out. This has some good cards.
Yeah.
Noble Hierarch.
Love it.
That's atypical for a Hate Bears deck, I think.
Right? Oh, I don't know. Craig plays stuff like Noble Hierarchs a fair bit, though, because he's actually... realistic about like mana considerations.
Well, I'm just saying it's atypical. Voice of Resurgence, that guy's awesome. Kosali Pride Mage. Here's the one that's super atypical. 3 Scavenging Ooze main deck. Atypical. I'm just saying, that's not what I think of when I think Hate Bears. Leonin Arbiter ×4, though. That's
a popular choice.
2 Thalias. 4. So,
Aven Mindcensor's buddy.
Craig, tell me about this. 4 Loxodon Smiter and 3 Wiltleaf Leech in the main deck. This is like...
Yeah, Jund was really popular, so Liliana the Veil is all over. Yeah, because they plus Liliana, and you just get a 4/4 that attacks Liliana, and you don't lose a card off it. So it's just a huge trump for that. And if everyone's playing Lightning Bolts, then you have these big threats that don't get Lightning Bolted, and they're trying to play Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes to take away your threats since the bolts don't kill them, and those don't work because those guys, they love to be Thoughtseized or Inquisitioned, but that's not an answer to them.
But, yeah, you just, slam down Wiltleaf Leech, and all these guys who are normally small become, substantially bigger. Especially, the green-white guys, right? You've got, Voice of Resurgence and Loxodon Smiter. Those guys get Gigundo.
Yep. And even if a card doesn't fit with your expectation of what the white aggro deck typically looks like, I'm usually the guy that plays sort of the innovative takes on cards, and then shortly after they become standard. So if I'm playing it, if it's not standard already, oftentimes it becomes standard shortly after.
So would you go with a deck like this still in Modern? It seems like you have some awesome cards against the decks that I like. Core Firewalker and Burton Forge Tender on the sideboard, and Spellskite. Yeah, I don't think I could ever beat those. all at the same time.
What's up with the? And this is some pretty sideways. I mean, maybe this just isn't of relevance, but man, what's up with the date? I mean, I realize it's probably just the weird font, but if you look at the date next to Wizards of the Coast, the trademark copyright info.
Oh, 2007.
Zoom in, look closer. Is it 2007? Is that when Aven Mindcensor originally came out?
I mean,
is that just because that's when Mindcensor originally came out? I don't know.
I think
that's
so.
pretty wild.
Zoom in on an Aven Mindcensor on my phone.
It was Future Sight.
Future Sight was 2007. So that does make sense. Man.
Cool observation, Patrick.
Interesting.
So
interesting stuff.
When I first looked at the card, it took me about 10 seconds before I realized that sort of hieroglyphic-esque font was actually saying Aven Mindcensor.
Yeah, there's the actual hieroglyphics on the left, but then it's got some stuff at the top that's actually weirdly English. How much of this set is going to end up being in this vein, right? Obviously they're kind of blowing it out of the water a little bit with the masterpieces, just making it super dope. How much this one literally looks like just the inside of some sort of palace pyramid thing.
Yeah, I feel like it looks like the Ten Commandments or something.
But it's kind of a really
Thou shalt not search thy library on my watch.
You ever play Aven Mindcensor in Cube?
Yeah.
What are you stopping? I haven't played any of the cubes too much recently. It's been a minute. I used to play a lot more way back, but what's we're stopping these days?
Demonic Tutor gets a little worse.
Oh, is it because they can only look at the top 4 cards?
Yeah, so Demonic Impulse.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Then Tinker doesn't find usually as good of a target either.
So this is not going to be legal in Standard, right? This is just one of those, this is some dope stuff that I assume this isn't going to be in Amonkhet, right?
Yeah, there's no indication that it is. They've done this in the past with the Masterpieces where they just reprint older cards that aren't Standard legal. So there's really no indication that this is a Standard legal reprint.
Yeah, the set it's shaping up to be kind of interesting in how much of the stuff that they're like in the mechanics that they're already like that they've already been talking about. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. That's I guess a story for another day. But how much the exert mechanic adds an additional option for players in combat? The one where like the guys can't untap.
Yeah, in limited though, you see people in Steel deck. I think Paulo Vitor at the Grand Prix had Steel Overseer in his deck. So if the opponent tries to search their library at a Grand Prix or a booster draft, might have a surprise for them every once in a while.
Oh, that's true. They will actually be legal in drafts some amount of the time. Mm-hmm. Just like Soul Ring. I mean, it's not very often, but...
Oh, but when it is...
And this is the type of blowout that you absolutely cannot play around because they're just never going to have it. But that one time when they have it, it's going to be pretty epic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into like any of the new cards that they revealed or whatever, but like it is worth noting that Aven Mindcensor is kind of a sick card to put 6 cents on, which is that green Oro enchanted creature has when this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, which will be
flies.
And it's flash, so it's like surprise, there's a threat, and also surprise, I'm drawing some cards. But I don't know. Maybe I like the wrong things. I guess you don't really show up with an Aven Mindcensor if your plan is to just sit around drawing a card every turn.
I've been known to durdle with my white aggro decks.
Dude, all the land in this set have Nicol Bolas in the background. You see that? Or at least the 5 that they already showed, the 5 basics, all of them have Nicol Bolas in the great distance. Like his horns or whatever,
Patrick, who's a greater villain, Emrakul or Nicol Bolas?
Well, the question is not really who's a greater villain between the two. The answer would be Nicol Bolas. I mean, Emrakul's not a villain. Emrakul is a force feature. Like it's. I don't think it's right to describe Emrakul as a villain. I'm not even sure that it's fair to say anybody is a protagonist except Emrakul, including us. Emrakul is definitely.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Emrakul is what is real. We're the figment of Emrakul's imagination. We're on the same page about that, right? Like, Emrakul is not a villain. Emrakul, it's like okay, so yes, it's like humans becoming insane. Maybe that's a thing it gets fed on. It's not just evil. It's not like it's just doing Emrakul things.
It's just Emrakul. That's how Emrakul rolls. That's
maybe it's not hard. It's not possible really for our feeble 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, whatever minds to comprehend Emrakul. Emrakul is at a higher level of consciousness and reality. Emrakul is like Conley Woods. I'm not even sure what that means, but I know that Emrakul is not a villain the same way that I think, in my opinion anyway. I mean, who knows?
Sure, when Emrakul attacks you have like 6 land death. That happens.
No, but what I mean is, like, so it's like, is Dr. Okay.
You know what Aven Mindcensor is good at? When the opponent goes, crack, take 2, they don't search.
Crack, they take 2? No, they only take 1, right?
Yeah, they go crack, fetch, take 2. Oh, wait, no, just take 1 and don't search. Never mind.
Yeah, I see. This is a Conley Woods dagger. I love it. Yes. Yeah. It might have saved his life if his opponent had an Aven Mindcensor down to get him to slow down. Anyway.
This is awesome.
I will say, with the Emrakul and Nicol Bolas debate, Nicol Bolas is more well-read. He's been reading books since Legends. Since his days as an Elder Dragon legend.
I think he took a break. I think he was reading books for quite a while, but there was a period of time where he was like driving Sarkhan mad and corrupting Tezzeret and doing some killing Ajani's brother and doing that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, books, lots of books. He does have a little bit different of a look to him these days compared to 20,000 years ago or whatever, when he was like kind of like Puff the Magic Dragon's like weird older, brother who just sits around and I don't know. I still like the original Legends one though, but I don't know.
Well, this is awesome. Aven Mindcensor looks awesome. I think it'll be
unbelievable.
It's going to be a cool card to collect. I think if you're the kind of person like Pro Tour winner and Aven Mindcensoring Grand Prix top 8 competitor Craig Wescoe to collect to play in your decks. Patrick and I will be back later this week with our regular episode, and thanks for the awesome masterpiece from Team Top Level. But we've also
Craig, where can we find your stuff?
On magic.tcgplayer.com. Every Friday I have articles.
Dope.
And I'm Brimaz for life on Twitter.
Makes sense. I fully expect to see some dope masterpiece Aven Mindcensors in your upcoming big finishes for. Are you playing in San Antonio?
Unclear at this point. We'll see.
Okay. Well, either way, check it out. We'll check it out on TCG Player on Friday, and we'll be back here on Thursday for Top Level Podcast. What do you think, Flores? Anything else? Okay, yeah.
We have a preview next week too. I think on Friday.
Dope.
So,
all right, you guys,
back to back for us. Cool. Thanks a lot for joining us, Craig.
Thanks, Craig, man.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
Life didn't work so great. Tried to play dredge for jail or hate. Ghostly prison waiting for my untapped phase. Your core trapped in amber stasis.